too. And you'll want a blanket at some point. You'll also want blocks if you have them, or you might be able to substitute with a big firm pillow and a chair. And we're going to start, like I said, seated however you want. So legs can be out or in, or you could be sitting cross-legged. You could be propped up against a piece of furniture if you want to. And as you sit, just begin by noticing how your body feels, where you're making contact with the floor. So noticing your hips, your legs, or your feet. Notice if you feel like you're holding anything up against gravity, and see if you can encourage that to let go and soften. And begin to notice your breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Could you get a little wider on the inhale, as though you were breathing three-dimensionally? So feeling expansion in the front ribs, the side, and the back ribs. And then on the way out, let's blow out like you're blowing out through a straw slowly. And repeat. And then you can transition to just breathing in and out through your nose if you want to, or you can breathe out through your mouth. All right, we're gonna take your blanket now, and you want a really firm blanket. If you don't have anything firm, if you just have like one of those floppy kind of fleece blankets, those aren't gonna work. You need something very thick and firm. So another option would be to use, well, for this one, you could even use a foam roller for this part. But if you don't have that, you could use a couple of bath towels or beach towels kind of rolled together to give a little bit of firmness. Okay, so I got a thick, firm roll with my blanket. I'm gonna come down on it face down, but with my thighs on the roll. Okay, so my quadriceps. So I'm gonna come forward. Okay, and I've got both of mine on there. Right? And at first, I'm just kind of rocking side to side. And if you're on a foam roller, it might be a little more intense, so you can adjust as needed. You'll notice I have my forearms down on the ground to help support myself here. And right away, I'm noticing that I've got some kind of tight spots. And it's like muscle tightness. I can feel my muscle clunking over it. So I'm gonna find one of those tight spots. For this one, it's just on one of my legs. Relax my neck. And then I'm going to bend the knee of the leg that I'm working on. And keep breathing. You can even use one of your blocks if you want to prop up your head. Good. And then, so I've got my roll on a certain part of my quads, right? Because this doesn't roll like a foam roller, I can just move my body to a different spot if I want to get to a different part of my leg, right? And I feel around again for another spot. I'm going to try to find one on the opposite leg. Okay, I think I got one. And same thing. Once I find it, and I bend and straighten that leg a few times, keeping the breath smooth. Try to relax your jaw as you're doing this. Good, and I'm gonna find another spot, doesn't matter which leg. I'm gonna go way down just above my knees. See if I can find one. We're just hunting around for tension, muscle tightness. And a foam roller works really nice for this, as I mentioned as well. Okay, when you're finished with that, you can keep going if you want to. We're going to move this roll. So now the foam roller won't work for this. You definitely want something soft. You could use a big pillow as well. So now I'm moving the roll up above, kind of on my lower ribs, so just below my chest here, okay? And I'm going to try to bend my right leg, and you're going to bend it as much as you can, okay? And now if I turn around, I can reach my foot. So if you can reach your foot, go for it, grab it. You could also use a scarf or a strap to get a hold of that foot if you want to. And we're going to stretch out the quadriceps now. So I'm putting my head down. This is almost like a half bow pose as well, or prep for one. I'm pressing my pubic bone toward the floor as I do this and breathing. Every time I breathe in, I can feel my belly expand. Just notice what you can feel. All right, and then letting that foot go and bending the other side and just seeing where it is. Think if it's possible to grab the foot. On this side, I'm going to show how to use the strap as well. Okay, so you can go into it, or if you need some instruction on how to use a strap with it, it can be any kind of exercise strap. It could be, like I said, a scarf or a belt. What I do is I just put my foot in it, okay, and then I come into it. And I'm just going to pull it forward. I'm going to try to press that pubic bone toward the floor. You can always prop your head up with your hand or with a block. A couple more breaths there. Okay, when you're ready to release, release. We're going to take this blanket roll out of the way. And I'm going to bend both knees. You can turn your head to the side or have your forehead down. I'm just going to windshield wiper the legs. Going side to side, letting the hips move. Noticing how this feels. Noticing how your low back feels. Okay, now we're going to add on to this, and feel free to watch me first if you want to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my hands down like I was going to do a push-up. My knees are bent, and then I'm going to push the legs or let the legs come down to the right, and then start to push into my hands and sit up. So now I'm on my right hip. Okay, now you might not have been able to push all the way up, so you might still be down there, okay? Now to get back down, I'm going to put my left hand back on the floor and try to slowly control as I come down. And let's just try the same side again. Okay, so you can look to your left, let the feet come down to the right, and as you come down that left leg, we'll go back a bit, and you rise up. Okay, let's try that side one more time. Slowly let yourself come back down. And again, keep breathing. Looking to the left, feet come down to the right. Press into that left arm and the right arm and sit up. Now let's slowly lower down. I'm going to try the other side, okay? So you can look to the right, feet come down toward the left. Start to push yourself up. You might even look over your right shoulder as you do that. And then slowly lower down. Let's do this side 3 times. So that was 1. trying to make the movement as easeful as possible. And again, if you're not able to come up, that's okay. Try to just feel for it, like what is limiting you? Is it shoulder strength? Is it some pain somewhere? Is it something I'm not mentioning? Okay. All right, now next time you come down, we'll try to go side to side. So we'll go to the right with the feet. I can look over the left shoulder, come down, try to control the movement on the way down, and come right back up to the left. Let's do each side again. Trying to create a sense of fluidity and ease with movement. Now this time we'll just stay up. All right, if you weren't able to get up all the way that way, then just get up any way you can. And we're going to sit with the feet in front, the knees bent. And now we'll windshield wiper from a seated position. So you've got your feet wide, knees go down one side and then the other. And just notice, have you been breathing this whole time? You know, there's a tendency with most people, including myself, to hold the breath, right? Especially when we're trying to learn something new or focus. We want to try to be aware of our breath the whole time with yoga. Can help us stay present and also to know when things are getting too difficult or maybe we've pushed ourselves too far. Okay, now, some of you have done this with me before. If it works in your body, you can let them come all the way to the ground and then stretch an arm around and then the other way. Knees come down and stretch. Okay, let's keep going. So swivel seats. This is a great warm up for the knees, the ankles, the hips and the spine. You can even try to do it without hands if you want to. Okay. All right. Let's come back to the center or come back onto your mat if you've crawled off and then come into a quadruped position or a tabletop position. Okay. You can always pad the knees if you'd like. Now we're going to work on our retracting and protracting of the shoulder blades. Now those of you that have been practicing with me for a while, if you know what I mean already, just go for it, okay? You can also do this on forearms if your wrists are sore. If you're not sure, what I'm doing is on the retract, I'm trying to pull my shoulder blades, and you can come up on your knees like me or even stand. I'm trying to pull them close to each other, retracting them back. And then on the protract, I'm pressing my arms forward. So you can see I did not changing the width of my arms. I'm not bending my elbows. I'm also not rounding and arching the spine, okay? Trying to do this just through the muscles around the shoulder blades, all right? So if you've been doing it for a while, you can go back to child's pose or downward dog and take a break. Or if you're just getting started, you can try a few more. Try to relax your neck so we're not elevating the shoulders up by the ears and getting into the neck. You can even let your head sort of droop a little bit when you're doing it in this position. Do a couple more. All right. Now we're going to come down onto our backs. You'll want to have a block close by. Now, if you don't have a block, you can improvise. You could use a big pillow or nothing at all. All right, so I'm going to come down onto my back and just take a couple of breaths here. You can put your hands on your rib cage, and as you inhale, feel your breath expand. You could try that pursed lip exhale once again. Try to make that exhale long. Now, the next time you exhale, let's just bring the hands down to the lower belly area. And as you exhale, just try to engage and feel some tightening of those lower abdominals. Good, with your fingertips. And then inhale. And this time exhale. Let's press the low back down to the floor and lift the feet off the floor so that the knees are over the hips. Okay. Going to take one of your blocks. Now, I'm going to give you a bunch of options actually. So some people, just being here is going to feel like a ton of work. They're going to keep breathing and engaging the abdominals, and you can even press your back to the floor, okay? So that might be enough, all right? Some people will have to do it with just one leg on the floor. And one off, I mean. Now, if you can handle this, then you'll take a block, okay? And with your block, you can place it against your left thigh and then put your forearm against it to hold it there. And already I feel more work. So I'm going to engage my belly, really try to feel even the left side of my abdominal area working really hard here. And as you inhale, I'm going to inhale, stay here. And as you exhale, can you begin to extend the right leg forward and the right arm overhead without losing contact with the floor? And then inhale, come back to the start and repeat. Now, if this is too much, just do either the arm or the leg, right? And notice that I'm not, if you're not watching me, just check me out for a second. I'm not going down here with the leg. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm from the start, just extending it out bit by bit, really trying to focus on keeping those abdominals engaged. Let's do 2 more. Keep pressing the low back down. Good, and then take a break. Feet to the floor. You can windshield wiper or do anything that feels good. I'm just resting my block on my belly. So that really made me sweat. It's warm in here, but that's how much work I was doing in my abdominal area. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, let's try it again. I mean, the other side, okay? So we're gonna inhale. And then as you exhale, engage the abdominals, press the low back to the floor and lift the feet up. And just decide what you need to do on this side. Which option? Both feet up, 1 foot down, block or no block, both limbs or one limb, okay? So here we go. Exhale, press that low back down, engage. Okay, inhale. Exhale, either the left leg and or the left arm. Extend and come forward or come in. I somehow ended up with opposite breath. You might find that happens to you too. It's just a little more supportive at times to exhale when you're doing the hard work because it automatically gets the core a little bit more engaged on the exhale. Okay, take a breath here, feet down, do whatever feels right to you. So let me explain that a little more. When we exhale, the way that our body physiologically works is the pelvic floor engages. You might not notice it, but the pelvic floor should be engaging and lifting a little bit on the exhale naturally. The abdominals come in, and this all helps and the diaphragm moves back up, right? So that helps to press the air out of the lungs. Okay. On the inhale, the diaphragm moves down, the belly might go out. There's some expansion to draw the air into the lungs. On the exhale, the diaphragm recoils. If there's no action happening, it just happens and the air presses out, right? So all this action helps the belly to engage. All right. From here, let's go into bridge pose. So you have both of your feet on the floor. You're going to inhale and lift the hips up off the floor to any height, pressing into your feet, and then exhale, lower back down and repeat. You can come up vertebrae by vertebrae, or you might be going straight up and down like an elevator with your hips. Just getting a little stretch out in the abdominal area that we just worked. And as you're doing it, can you also engage your glutes and tighten those glutes as you come up and press into your feet? Let's do one more up. And if you want to hold it on the next one, you can. You might even notice here as you're breathing, the action that's happening in your belly. Good. Bring it on down. You can rock yourself up, or you could roll to your side and press up. Let's do a few cats and cows. Inhale, let's let the belly come toward the floor, tail up, chest forward. And exhale, we'll round the whole spine. Chin tucks. Okay, now let's use the bear get up, tuck in those toes under, walking your hands back. Come up onto your feet. Inhale to reach your arms up toward the ceiling, and exhale, arms out to the sides and down. And just wiggle the toes a little bit, wiggle your fingers a little bit, and stand tall. All right, so as you're standing here, feeling your feet on the floor, notice the balls of your feet, ball of big toe, ball of pinky toe, and the center of your heel. And you can put your hands either on the lower ribs on the sides here, or you could cross the arms to feel this. On the inhale, what's happening is my ribs are expanding, and on the exhale, they're moving in. This is all to create more space to draw in air into the lungs, right? One of the actions that helps to make that happen is the diaphragm contracts and moves downward a little bit. So it goes from a dome shape, so this is the exhale, to inhale. This is the exhale. Okay, so that's what's happening with the diaphragm. You don't have to think about what happens with the diaphragm. It just happens, right? Same with your abdominal muscles, but you can also think about it if you want to. It's easier to connect with. So you could just inhale and relax in the belly. And as you exhale, blow all the way out. If you keep going, you might actually feel some tightening or pulling back in the abdominal area. Some of us are just chronically contracted in our abdominals, so it might take a while to get that. Okay, just relax and shake it out a bit. All right, shake out your arms. Let's shake out one leg as you're shaking your arms. Shake out the other leg, and then just pause. Notice how you feel standing. Okay, you're gonna grab a block or any other object, like you could use a water bottle for this too. And I'm just gonna stand with your feet hips distance. You're gonna take this block and we're gonna be moving it around. These are called halos. So if you hold the short ends of the block, and then you start to take it over, let's say, your right ear, then behind the head if you can with your shoulders, and then come around the left ear side, and then let's just twist to the right. Okay, did you see how I did that? And now I'm gonna come around the left ear first, behind the head. I've got my feet a little wider, that feels better to me. And then around the right ear and twist to the left. And I just kind of lift my right heel as I do that. Around the right ear, twist to the right, around the left ear, And twist to the left. A couple of more just to get you into the movement. You could also do this with, if you have like a dumbbell or even a kettlebell that you feel safe using. It'll give a little bit more strengthening to the movement. Otherwise, it's mostly mobility for your shoulders. Look behind you, right? Look around. Notice what's around you. Good. Last one. Doesn't matter which side. All right. Let's get your chair at the front of your mat with the seat facing you for some modified sun salutations. In Sanskrit, which is the language of yoga, if you've been practicing with me, you might know that already. Surya Namaskar is the Sanskrit word for this. It's the sun greeting or the sun salute. Okay, so we're going to stand in front of the chair. And the idea is yogis might practice this in the morning facing the east when the sun is rising. Okay, so feeling your feet on the ground, standing tall. Top of head reaching towards your ceiling. Let's inhale and reach your arms up. And exhale, let's hinge at the hips and fold hands to chair. You can always do full salutes if you know them, or inhale, reach your chest forward. And we're going to exhale, take the left leg back to a lunge and scoot your right foot under the chair, knee moving toward the chair. Left heel is lifted. Let's inhale here. And exhale here. Good. Shoulder blades down your back. Inhale. Now as you exhale, let's step that back leg in just a bit. So you can step the right leg next to it and stretch back to your chair, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. And inhale, let's bend the knees and look forward towards the seat of your chair. Exhale, step that left leg forward. And I'm going to step my right leg back further so I can lift the heel. My foot's all the way under the chair. Inhale, really light touch, like almost barely touching your chair. Good. Exhale, inhale again. And exhale. Good. And now let's bring the foot a little bit out from underneath the chair. Inhale to lift the back leg a bit if you want as you step it forward. Exhale. Inhale, reach your chest forward. And exhale, we're going to bend our knees like we're sitting in a chair behind us. Weight in your heels. And inhale, stand up. Reach your arms up. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. Okay, before we do that again, we're going to try to get a rhythmic breath going because that's a little bit part of that type of practice. So let's inhale through your nose for maybe a count of 4. Let's blow out through pursed lips for a count of 5 or 6 or even longer if you can. Okay, just try that again. Okay, now we'll try a little bit more of moving toward Ujjayi breathing, which is a Sanskrit word meaning victory breath. And it can just help you focus a little bit further. You can hear the sound in the back of your throat, okay? So we're going to inhale through the nose. We'll still exhale out the mouth, but like you're fogging up your glasses or a mirror. So it's like this. Make a little noise. You might not be able to hear me over the recording, but here we go. So it sounds like a sigh on the breath out. Then inhale through the nose. Good. Okay, now you can stick with anything, right? Or even use your natural breath. This time I'm going to use that same noise, but with my mouth closed. So it's almost like I'm sighing against the back of my lips, but I've still got that sound. I'm breathing in and out through my nose. And I've got this sound on both the inhale and exhale. You may or may not. And you're just going to keep a rhythm with it. Okay, so we're going to try to do that kind of breathing, or at least a rhythmic breathing as you move. Let's try to do our inhale about a 4 count, your own count, and your exhale maybe a 6 count if you can. All right, I'm going to do the same thing we did last time. We're just going to do the other leg first. Okay, so here we go, standing tall. Let's just inhale and exhale. And then the next inhale, we're going to raise the arms. You don't have to be in time with me. Exhale and fold, taking your hands to the chair. Inhale, reach your chest forward. And exhale, step your right leg back to a lunge and scoot your left foot forward. And inhale, stay here. We're going to be here 2 breaths. Get light on your hands. And on your inhale, just prep to step back. So you can bring that back leg in a little bit. And then exhale back to your downward facing dog. Knees can be bent or straight. Let's take 3 breaths here. Keeping that rhythm if you can. So relax your jaw. Relax your face. And inhale, looking forward at your chair. And exhale, we'll step the right leg forward underneath the chair. Step your left leg back. Gotta get light on your hands if you can. Good, and then getting your foot out from underneath that chair. Let's take an inhale. And then on your exhale, you can step forward. You could lift the leg on the way if you want to. Step it next to the other leg and inhale, reach your chest forward. Exhale, sit like you're seated in a chair behind you. Then inhale to rise. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. Good. Just notice how you're feeling here. All right. I'm going to get your 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks for this, you can just use imaginary blocks, or maybe some other objects could work. Okay. I'm going to take these and I'm going to place them on their highest level. Okay. I'm going to have my right foot right next to the blocks, and my left foot is going to be like a little kickstand back here. So I've got the toes tucked under. Okay, like this. Okay. There's very little weight that's going to be on this foot. It's just for balance. And now, taking your hands to your hips, I'm going to try a hip hinge. So I'm going to be sending my pubic bone, and that's what I did. I put my hand here to remind myself. I'm going to send that pubic bone back. You see, so my butt goes back, and then when I come up, come back to neutral, and then back and up. Now, with my standing leg, I've got a little bend in it, but my weight is in the heel. If I wanted to tap my toe, I could, okay? So as opposed to this, right? See how the difference here, my knee is coming forward. So instead, my butt is going back as my pubic bone goes under, okay? This is gonna be our action. Okay, we're working on strengthening hamstring and glutes, so the back muscles of the leg that's supporting us. Okay, now we'll try it with the blocks. This could also be done with weights in your hand. Okay, this is a strengthening exercise. As I mentioned, you're using very little support with this foot. You also may need support for balance. Like, say this is too difficult, right? You could always back that foot up more, put a little more support there, or you could even hold something and just work on the movement. Okay, here we go. And inhale, And as I exhale, I'm going to hinge at the hips, reach down for my blocks. Inhale, I'm going to press down through my standing leg heel. That's my right heel. Come up just to neutral and engage my glute muscles as I do it. Exhale, go down. I'm not going all the way down. I want to keep, you'll notice I've got my back in this lengthened position, right? I'm not doing this. Because if I were to lift heavier weights, these blocks are light, but if these were heavy weights and I was doing this, especially if I had any osteopenia or porosis in my spine, I might risk a fracture back there, right? Or an injury. Puts a little more stress on the back. It's not that rounding is bad for your back, it's just underweight, and with alignment, it might cause an injury, okay? Okay, so I'm going down. You could use the inhale or exhale for either movement. I think I like the exhale coming up. Inhale going down. And I'm not feeling too much. I feel my right glute working a little bit, but this is pretty light for me. But we're working on the form of this. I'm also keeping my neck at ease. Yeah, so now I'm starting to tire out my right glute. Okay. You can always rewind that if you're watching the recording and just try to get that motion going, okay? So we're working on single leg. I'm gonna use this same side so you can see the standing leg. Single leg strength, because that's where you can see your weaknesses here. So remember, we've got just our little kickstand, so there's very little weight on the right foot back here. And let's just try the movement first. So you can put your hand on your pubic bone if you want. Let's use the inhale to hinge. So my butt goes back, my left leg bends a little bit, and then exhale, come up. Engage the glute when you get there. Then inhale, pubic bone goes back, chest keeps reaching forward. Exhale, I straighten the leg, and I snap the hips. I press down through the heel. Remember, this is opposed to knee coming forward. So knee's not coming forward, butt is going back, like you want to hit the wall behind you with your butt. Okay, I'm going to try it with the stuff. If you're using them, you can also use balance support and keep working the form. Inhale. And then exhale, press down through that standing leg, come up, engage the glute. Inhale, go down. And I'm not going all the way down. That's not my objective. My objective is to really get that butt back and keep the chest reaching forward. My neck is staying in neutral, so I'm not sending my chin forward like this. So you can see I just started to do it at a little bit of a quicker pace, like a snap up, but I'm still not snapping up and pressing my hips forward. I'm not doing that, okay? I'm just snapping up to neutral and engaging my glute. Okay, now I'm starting to feel this side working a little more. A couple more if you want to. Again, these could be done with a couple of hand weights or kettlebells. Good. Next time you come up, let's take a break. Let's roll out those ankles. I'm going to trace around the outer edges of one of your feet. Let your knee and hip move. Relax your shoulders a bit. So I'm sure you've noticed, but I like to bring in a lot of these therapeutic and restorative movements to some of our yoga practice, right? So some of what I'll bring in will be some traditional yoga, poses, philosophy and such, breath work, pranayama, and then some will be a mix of restorative exercise, therapeutic exercises to adapt to our modern lives, right? Okay, after you've done one side, let's stand and notice the two ankles and feet, breathing in and out. And let's do the second side. You can even look down at the ankle because not everybody is aware of what their foot and ankle are doing. It's kind of far away from our brains, right? And from our eyes. So you can look at it And notice, oh gosh, I really don't have good movement in this angle, or wow, I do, or wow, that hurts right there. And so just building that body awareness. All right, standing on both feet now. Let's try some heel raises, okay? So we're gonna inhale, you can bring the arms up if you want to, or you can hold something if you feel the need, and then exhale, come down. Okay, then we're gonna try to bring those heels up as high as we can, balance for a moment, and come back down. Now, if you want to, let's add in a little more. When we come down, you can lift the toes off the floor. I'm lifting all 10 toes off the floor, or you can balance on the heels. Okay, either one. And inhale up, go down, keep going. Now, if you want to try to balance there, you can do that. All right, coming on down. Just notice how your feet feel. Let's scrunch your toes up into a little ball and spread. You can do that while balancing on one leg if you'd like. And then the other side. Okay, we've been doing a little balance lately, or we always do a little balance. Lots of videos on in the library for that. But let's try a one we haven't done in a little bit. At least I don't think we have. I'm going to do, actually, this side. Just find yourself a focal point. I've got a chair at my side in case I need it. Okay. I'm just looking at something out ahead and standing tall. Inhale. Exhale, let's bring the right knee forward and up. Good. Just notice how that shifts things. It might be that you have to keep the toes down in a kickstand. That's fine, okay? See where you can be without balance support. Let's do one more breath. Eyes soft. And bring it down. Good. Step side to side. Same thing, other leg. Find a focal point. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, other leg, left leg lifts. Keep breathing. Can you try that same rhythm of the breath that we used earlier? So maybe in for 4, out for 6. Remember, you can always tap the toes down and come back in. Where can you be where you can remain there, but give yourself just enough challenge? Good, and come down. So for some of you, just enough challenge might be keeping a little contact point on the floor. For some people, it might be easy and you might have to close your eyes to get more challenge, right? Okay, moving on. You're gonna inhale, stand tall. Get your focal point if you've got eyes open. Exhale, right knee comes up. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, I'm going to start to take the right leg behind me. You could always tap it down. And I'm going to hinge so my pubic bone goes back. I'm going to hinge at the hip like we did with our deadlift. Reach your chest forward. Your arms could go back or you could hold your support. Let's inhale here and exhale. Remember, back and neck is in neutral, so you're reaching your chest forward, not your chin. Good, inhale. Exhale, let's bring that knee forward. Maybe your arms come up. Inhale, stay here. And exhale, step down. All right, you can always flip your body around. Doesn't matter which way you're facing, which leg is close to the chair. All right, you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right, so let's inhale. Get your focal point if you want it. Exhale, left leg comes up. Good, inhale. Exhale. Okay, now we're going to start hinging. So we'll inhale here, and then exhale, pubic bone goes back. Remember, you can always tap that foot down any place, right? The standing leg can be bent or straight. You're reaching your chest forward. Your arms might come back or they might hold the chair. Remember, back of the neck is trying for neutral. Hips are trying for squaring toward the floor if you can. And then when you're ready, you can take an exhale, bring that leg forward and up. You might take the arms up on the inhale. And then exhale, step it down. All right, just step side to side a little bit, roll out your ankles. Let's be in Tadasana or mountain pose for a few breaths. Your eyes can be open or closed. You might want to close them and tune in to how you're feeling internally right now. Noticing your feet, noticing your head, your hands, across your chest, your legs, the back side of your body. Feeling the movement of your breath in your body. All right, I'm going to try another standing pose. And you could either use the wall or a chair. Okay. I'm going to put my chair against the wall and use the back side of the chair. Okay. I'm going to be coming into that same warrior three position and then moving between warrior three and supported half moon pose. Let me explain. So moon rises. Okay. I'm going to stand a little back from the back of the chair. I'm going to step my right leg a little forward, and then right away I'm going to hinge. So that same motion we did with those single leg block lifts, okay? And to take my hands to the chair. So I'm in that neutral spine. Hips are facing the floor. I'm going to try to take that back leg up, okay? Any amount. Now I find I want to get a little further back. So you can do that, can just get where you feel comfortable. Standing leg can be bent or straight, but watch something here. If I bend it and it's like this, putting a lot of pressure in the front of my knee, but that we're not after right now. We're after getting the weight back to the heel. Okay, so just try to find that. Come in and out a few times. Try to find where the best position is for you to feel that. So you could toe tap if you wanted. If I bent my knee, my butt would be going back just like in those block lifts. Okay, you can also have your legs straight. Okay, starting with my hip facing the floor, I'm just going to rest my forearms in the back of the chair. This can be where you stay, and you could just work here. I already feel my standing leg glute working. Already. I feel it working strongly, okay? So can you tune in and feel that? And if not, what micro adjustments could you make to get the weight back toward the heel, get that hinge in the hip? Okay, now if you want to add on, you could inhale, and I'm going to keep the right leg seemingly the same and start to turn my left hip. See how that opened to the side? And I'm going to exhale, and now it's facing the floor again. So I'm putting my hand here just so you can see what's happening in my body. Now I've got a lot of movement and rotation. It's really my right hip, my standing leg, that a lot of movement is happening in. And I can feel that right hip moving even more. So when my hand is not there, you can see that mainly my chest is primarily staying the same. And it's the hips and my belly is following that are moving. And man, can I feel that right hip working. Keep breathing. Good, and then let's step that leg down, bend the knees, and stand up. Okay, how'd it go? Remember, you can always rewind it to see the instruction again. I'm going to do it on the other side, though, so you'll see it then, too. All right, So now I'm going to find where I need to be. I kind of know now where I need to be, right? We're hinging, so the pubic bone goes back, butt goes back. And right here, this might be a good place to find that toe tap. It's not like I'm lifting my toes off the floor, but that just tells me that my weight is back, okay? Because we're working on the hips. Now, I'm going to take my other leg, my right leg off the floor. I'm going to try to square the hips to the floor. Remember, if you need to bend that standing leg, which most people will, then the weight is in the heel, so you're not bending it forward like this. Okay, so check in with all these things. Whew, and yeah, I can already feel the work is different on this side for me. So notice it, how it is for you. Where do you notice it? Keep squaring the hip to the floor. You see how I do this? I square the hip to the floor. Bending the knee can help you do that. And that's when I get to feel it more in the hip. If I don't square it to the floor, I don't feel it in my hip. Okay. Okay. Now you can always stay here and work this. This is good work. Or you can open that hip to the side and then close it back down to the floor. Okay, you don't have to have your hand on your hip. I'm just doing that so you can see what I'm pointing at and what's happening. Keep breathing. Good, and then whenever you're ready, coming down, bend the knees and stand. All right. Now, I'm going to have a seat in my chair for a figure 4 stretch. I'm going to stretch out that hip a little bit. If you prefer, you could do a pigeon pose on the floor, for those of you that know that, or you could do a figure 4 stretch on your backs, if you know that, okay? So for this one, I'm going to bring my right leg up, cross the ankle over my left knee, okay? I'm going to draw the toes toward my shin. I'm going to press my knee out to the side gently. I'm going to lift it back up. Press it out gently, lift it back up. I'm doing this while trying to keep my spine in neutral. So instead of like this, okay, just as best as I can. Okay, now, next time you put it out to the side, you can try holding it there and sitting up tall. If you cannot sit up tall, then just work on that. If you need more of a stretch, you could lean forward, hinging again at the hip. Keep breathing. Let's take a few breaths there. You don't want any knee pain when you do this. This knee of mine is still a little injured, so I'm staying pretty conservative with this stretch for me. Good, and when you're ready, come up and out. I can undo it, kick it out a little bit. If you're doing one of the other variations, just switching sides when you're ready. Bring the other leg up, cross the ankle, come in and out a few times. Find that tall seat when you're ready, toes pulled towards shin. Inhale, and then exhale, getting length as you fold forward any amount. You can also just try to sit up tall. Good, and when you're ready, coming out. If you're already on the floor, you can stay there and come into any other poses that feel good to you before resting. You can also stay in your chair and do a relaxation that way. I'm going to come on down to the floor. I'm going to sit up. I'm going to be doing legs over the chair, so I'm going to use my chair there. You don't have to do that. You can also do Shavasana. Get some neck and head support. Come down in a mindful way. If there's any other positions your body wants or needs, go for it. You want to feel as supported as you can for relaxation. So, whether that's seated or lying down, getting any props or anything you need to support yourself in the practice of letting go. Might take a couple sighs here. Letting go of that rhythmic breath if you're still happen to be using it, and just letting your breath be natural and easy. Let's scan your body beginning at your head and notice any areas where you could let go of effort, like maybe your mind, your eyes, your forehead, your jaw. Throat. Noticing your shoulders, arms, and hands, letting go of effort. Chest and belly. Backside of your body. Hips, inner thighs. Legs. Ankles and feet. Whole body, letting go of effort. Feeling as though you could sink into the floor a little bit deeper, letting go to gravity.